Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be the red pill almost ruined my life. Well, I've got two emails to go through with you. The first one, this guy says he's been following me for 10 years, and apparently in the last couple of years, he got into red pill content. And it just kind of turned him into an angry, unhappy dude. And, myself and the girls, we see these guys in the comments. It's like they all got the same attitude. And where it comes from, the negative, angry, women hating vibe that they give off, what's happening is they're watching these red pill guys and these podcasts that are very entertaining and funny. They're popular, they get a lot of views. But what it typically involves is sex workers, OnlyFans girls, strippers, club girls, the type of girls that most of us wouldn't even want to talk to, wouldn't even want to hang around with. But it is entertaining, just like it was in the 1980s when Morton Downey Jr. was the first guy that had, that trash kind of TV where you bring a bunch of people on, you bring 3 or 4 dudes on, and they're all sleeping with the same girl apparently, and she's pregnant, doesn't know who the father is, and then they do a DNA test or whatever. Come to find out, the one guy that thought he was the father is not the father, and then the dudes start brawling on stage or whatever. It's like, that's entertaining, but what do you actually learn from that? I mean, what do you really learn from watching a bunch of trailer trash go at it? I mean, it's entertaining, but it really kind of lowers your IQ, and it's not something that's going to give you a positive, optimistic outlook on the world. And so what these guys see, and I see over and over, the same thing happened to Chunky. Chunky got into red pill content when he was in his senior year in high school, and all the girls loved Chunky. And then when he got into red pill content, it made him angry, it made him bitter, and he just repulsed women to the point where just girls didn't want anything to do with him. And then his dad gave him a copy of my book, and he got into my book and started applying it, started doing well again. And it's like all the girls absolutely love Chunky. Every girl that I've seen him met and interact with, he's always smiling, he's full of joy, he's a happy, positive dude. He's dangerous, but he's extremely kind, and women love him for that. And that's what you want. You want to have charm and charisma, be easygoing, easy to get along with, because love, after all, is playful and fun. It's not a bunch of dudes, a bunch of angry dudes berating a bunch of women who come from broken homes. That's not how you talk to women. It's not how you talk to your mother. It's not how you talk to your sister. It's not how you talk to your female coworkers. Because you'll see when I go through this particular email, this first guy is really pissed off that I guess apparently he got blocked on Instagram because he was being an asshole. And as I've said many times over the years, that our community and YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else is like an NFL locker room. And as Bill Parcells said, hey, if you can help, because he said losers basically huddle in the corner and they complain about the other players and the coaches. But he said winners assemble on the field as a team. And he says, if you can help the team, come on in. But if you can't, then get the hell out. And so when somebody shows up and they're being a dick, or they want to be an ass and act like the way they see the red pill guys acting on their podcasts, it's, if I see it or the girls see it, you're going to get blocked. It's like, I'm 50. I just turned 54. Do you think at 54 years old, I want to listen to some dude in his 20s that's got no life experience insult me? It's like, no. I got better things to do with my life. I already have more people than I can respond to who appreciate me and who value me and are kind and respectful. I'm going to spend my time with those people, not these douchebags. But I did take this guy's email because he wrote in an email and he's all pissed off that he got blocked, and he spends his whole email belittling me, belittling the girls, calling me names. And you got to remember, before I go into this, no one will ever do or say anything to you that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment. And so just imagine a guy that's this angry, this unhappy, trying to talk to a cute girl. He's going to scare the shit out of her. she is going to flee from him. And you can see why, just the angry vibe and why these guys get so mad. They're sexually frustrated, obviously. Women don't like them. Women don't like being around them, and they're angry and unhappy. And it's clear the vibe they're giving off is like they don't like or respect women. And so the second email that I'm going to go through is a success story. A guy that's been following me since 2017 who was doing great with my work. And then he started consuming red pill content. Same thing. It made him angry, made him bitter. He started berating women. He became arrogant. He became condescending to them. And what he noticed is women just started blocking him because they didn't like him. They didn't like his attitude. And again, what he started doing was he started emulating the red pill podcast guys that have all of these, in essence, trailer trash women on their shows, and they berate them and talk down to them, and they think, oh, this is the way you talk to women. It's like if you behave this way, or you come into the office with the girls in your office and you act this way, you're going to get fucking fired. You can't behave this way in the real world. And so this guy, the said guy, the title in his email said that red pill almost ruined his life. And so he shows how he finally got away from it, got back to my work, started re-implementing it, going back to the fundamentals, and now he's been dating a great girl for the last couple of months. And so it's like I see this over and over, and it's about once a week I get an email from somebody that is telling me that. They were doing great with my work, then they start consuming red pill stuff. It makes them angry, bitter. I've talked to dudes that get the impression, hey, it's okay to cheat on your girlfriend or cheat on your wife, and they just have to put up with it because you're the man. And then, they're calling me in a panic trying to put their marriage or their relationship back together because they started listening to these jackasses that, quite frankly, have only been doing this stuff for a few years. I mean, I've been doing this stuff for 20 years. And I've really been studying this stuff and studying self-help my whole life since I was a teenager. And being 54, it's like 30, 35 years I've been in this industry. I've been studying this work, studying this mindset, and applying it. And so when you got somebody's been doing it for a few years, they have a very popular podcast because of the entertainment value, not the educational value, but the entertainment value. Then people like this, especially you'll see the first guy watch it and think, oh, I'm going to become this way. And so this guy's followed me for 10 years. I've never talked to him, never had a phone session, and this is the first time I've ever heard from this guy. This is the first time you follow somebody for 10 years and you learn a lot from them, and this is the first thing that your first contact that you ever have with them, this is what you're going to say to them. This is beautiful. So he says, what happened, Coach Corey? Oddly enough, I found myself blocked from your Instagram account. I made a comment on one of your videos the other day saying it was some shallow-ass content, which many people seem to agree because it got near 30 likes. So what? You block people over that? Well, if one of the girls blocked you, you're obviously being a dick and you're being a douche. You're not a guy who's bringing harmony into our locker room. You're a guy who's bringing chaos and drama. And at 54 years old, I'm not going to put up with your immature bullshit. I'm just not. And neither are the girls. So if you're going to act like a dick, you will definitely get blocked. I've been saying that for years. That's always been our policy. If you can't be mature, if you can't be kind and respectful or disagree and spell out your reasons for disagreeing, if you want to insult and call names, yeah, you're going to get blocked. And obviously I've read through this email already. So whatever you said, you definitely deserved to get blocked because you're being a douche. You wouldn't talk to your mother this way. You wouldn't talk to your sisters if you had any sisters. And you definitely should not talk to the women that you work with like this because you will get fired. I've been following you for 10 years and bought 5 copies of your books for friends because your content used to be good. So because I voiced my opinion, which as a hardcore Republican you should fully support, you blocked me? He says, LOL, you got blocked because you're being a dick. Simple as that. You're being rude and disrespectful, and you're not adding any value to the community. You're just being a hater, and you're being angry, you're being upset. Like, I don't care. I've never spoken to you before. It's inappropriate to write me something like this, especially if you've got any kind of you follow somebody for 10 years, and you think this is a good idea to write to somebody, and that's going to win them over to your position? He says, well, let me just say, I have held your content close to me throughout my life. I was young when I found your work, and I believed in you and your work. Well, as I've always said, even if you think I'm full of shit, if you apply what's in my books, you'll see that it'll work better than anything you've ever done or tried in the past. I read your book 10 times. Well, if you've been following me 10 years and you've read the book 10 times, when was the last time you actually went through it? Especially if you've been consuming all the red pill stuff. I implemented into my life and practice what you preached. Every morning when you used to post good content, I would listen to one of your podcasts while I made breakfast. Well, I still post the same content 5 times a week. I still teach the same fundamentals that I've been teaching since I started. Nothing's changed there, so I don't know what you're talking about. But that's an attempt at an insult. But over the past couple of years, it seems like you no longer practice what you preach. You seem like a simp to young, shallow, immature girls, not women. You aren't acting like the man you portray to be in your books. You seem like you're agreeing with whatever these dumb girls say to get in their pants. Who knows if you're trying to get in their pants or not? Well, obviously you want to get in their pants because you brought it up. He says, but that's how it's coming off. And the fact that you're talking about the girls in my podcast, my employees who work for me, my coworkers, in such a condescending way as if you're some intellectual genius, please, dude. Please, seriously. This is not the way you talk to women. This is not the way you behave around women. Being angry, being upset, it's like what you're really mad about is that none of these girls would give you the time of day. None of them would be interested in sleeping with you. You would repulse them. You would disgust them because you act like an angry, unhappy guy that women don't like. It's as simple as that. It's not my fault that women hate you and don't like you anymore and don't want to have sex with you. You started acting like a dick, and if you had any success, it would have evaporated. That's why you're so angry and bitter and pissed off. I mean, you got blocked for being a dick, and then you take your time to write an email and call them all stupid. It's like the girls that I have on my show, they're regular girls. I don't have sex workers or OnlyFans girls or club girls or chicks from broken ratchet homes. I just have regular girls. Erica's about to be 33. Jade's 32. Jocelyn, I think, is 26 or 27. Chunky's 23 now. And Caroline's 25 or 26, I think. And the majority of, when I look at the demographics of who watches my videos across all the different platforms, 25, age range 25 to like 45 is the majority, the overwhelming majority of people that are watching my podcast. And so I have average, regular girls on my podcast. Nice human beings who I like working with. They like each other. Jade and Erica are the best of friends, and they have a good time together. And so I want to work with people that I like. I want to work with people that do a good job. The girls, yeah, they're on my podcast. We answer viewer questions together so they can give the female perspective. And sometimes we disagree. Sometimes they say things get a little contentious. And that's the point. I'm not here to berate them and abuse them like you see on these other shows. That's just not normal. Real men do not talk to women that way in the real world. But it is entertaining. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to educate you and help you if you're open to it, which it doesn't sound like you are anymore. But unless your attitude changes, the girls on my podcast and girls you're going to meet in life, you're not getting in their pants, dude. You're not getting in anybody's pants with the vibe you're giving off. He says, never once have I heard you stick up for men or have an opposing conversation with these girls. Well, there's been plenty of them. You're selectively picking out one episode, and probably more than likely because there was a few shorts that got posted to Instagram in the past week, which were roasting guys like you that are into this stuff, and maybe that's what set you off and caused you to start insulting me or the girls or whatever you were saying on there that got you blocked. But at the end of the day, I don't care that you're blocked. I'm glad that you're blocked, and good riddance. I don't want to talk to people like you. I don't want to work with people like you. I want to deal with people that are nice, that are respectful, that are easygoing, easy to get along with. It's simple. Life's too difficult as it is to put up with dudes like you. You seem to just let these young, dumb girls talk, and you sit there like a good boy and agree with them, hoping they'll like you. Okay, dude. You're being everything I've tried not to be. Well, you either do or do not. If you're trying not to be that way, that tells me that you're still being that way. Because I learned not to do that from you. It's called listening. If I ask a question, I want to hear the girl's opinion. And if she's going to say something stupid or silly or that we disagree with or that we can have a laugh, I mean, if you notice, most of the time we're laughing and we're having a good time when we're doing the podcast there, because I want to have fun with my life. I want to enjoy what I'm doing, and I want to enjoy the people that I do it with. I would never, ever work with somebody that has the attitude like you do. And if you ever somehow, somebody like you, we ended up hiring, you would quickly get fired. Because we don't work with assholes. I just don't need it in my life. I've seen enough of them and dealt with enough of them in my life to know that I don't want to deal with people like you. You don't bring any value to my life or my community. And again, that's why you got blocked. You're being everything I've tried not to be because I learned not to do that from you. I learned how to be a fucking man from you and not be a simp. It sucks because now it just feels like some fictional character that I used to believe in. Best of luck. Well, I don't believe in luck. Luck is for pussies like you. I make my own luck, dude. And I'm sorry that you feel like you're such a simp because, again, you're calling me a simp because that's really the way you feel about yourself. And I'm not going to feel any remorse, but I feel bad for you. I'm sorry for you that you started believing these guys and you're carrying around this negative vibe because women don't like you. They're not going to want to sleep with you. You ain't getting any pussy, dude, with that kind of fucking attitude. Girls are not going to want to be around you. Berating women and being abusive to them is great, entertaining content, but it's not how people in the real world operate. I even had one of my girlfriends from the book on the podcast and did a bunch of questions and stuff with her because people had always wanted to ask her a bunch of questions, and it was very well received. Everybody loved those videos. There were a few haters, which there's always haters on everything that I do, but I'm just a regular dude, and I work with regular people, and I like people who are nice to me. I don't work with assholes, and I certainly do not allow assholes to continue insulting me or the people that work for me in the content. So good riddance. You won't be missed. Hopefully someday you'll pull your head out of your ass and start acting like a man. And maybe if you had a little bit more testosterone in your body and your balls actually drop, someday you'll be one of the guys that writes in an apology, because I've had that too. I've had guys that have been blocked over the years, and they realize, you know what, I was being a real disrespectful asshole, and I apologize. And they start a new account or whatever, and there's like one guy I know in particular, it's like several years ago, I don't know, 6-8 years ago going back. He was real nice for a year or two, and then he just started being a condescending dick to me, and then he got blocked. And then he ended up creating a new account. I don't know, 6 months later he came back. He wrote his long apology. And now he's one of the best commenters in my community. And he realized that he was being a dick. And he was being disrespectful, and he deserved to get blocked. And maybe, hopefully, someday you'll realize that. But to talk to me this way, I've never spoken to you. And you insult me. You insult the girls that work for me, like belittling them as if somehow you're superior to them. Dude, you're not going out with hot girls that go to Harvard. It's like, give me a break. You're lucky if you're able to get a girl that works at McDonald's to go out with you. So it's like, if you don't change your attitude, you're going to be a miserable, unhappy dude. So let's go to a guy who used to have that same kind of attitude as the first emailer, and see what he has to say. And he's had a similar experience to what Chunky had and so many of my other clients. It's really the last 2 years or so I really noticed that, where I got guys coming back to me, and they're either fucked up their marriages or their long-term relationships, or they went from having lots of women in their lives to no women in their lives when they started consuming this red pill stuff, because they take on that persona, that angry persona. And one of the main dudes whose books get read the most is a guy that's he's in a boring marriage, as he describes it. A boring, mediocre marriage, and you can tell he's very angry, he's very pissed off, he feels like he never got the type of girl that he deserved. He's settled, and he's pissed off, and he's trying everything he can to absolve himself from that responsibility. And so that vibe, that mentality, that mindset, that loser mindset that he has, he's giving it to everybody that consumes his content. And then you have guys that follow me for 10 years and are probably nice and respectful for a long time, and then they get into the red pill stuff and they turn into dickheads like this other guy. So this guy says, "Hello, coach. I'm a 31-year-old male in the steel industry, and I live very well. I work out 5 times a week. I am 6'2", 200 pounds. I live in Manhattan. I found your work around 2017. And in 2017, I got out of a 7-year relationship, and your videos showed up on how to get an expect. Following your work, I was back in the dating scene and very successful with women. Living in New York City, it gave me a lot of prospects to practice your work. I followed no contact, and my ex reached out to me after 3 months. I followed the 3 H's, hang out, have fun, hook up, and we were back to hooking up. I realized that she was not the woman I wanted to be with, and so I started to date a lot of women, and I felt like I had a superpower in my hands." So the key is that he had all this success, and he looked at it as a superpower was something to treat with respect. It didn't mean he was superior to everybody else, which the first emailer, he's trying to elevate himself above the girls, above me, and he's so great and amazing, and the rest of us are just pieces of shit, basically. Because that's how he can maintain the lie of his story for why his life isn't the way he wants it to be. He says, "Unfortunately, sleeping around with so many women made me view women differently. I started to see red pill. Well, I gave you the cheat codes. It doesn't mean you should turn into an arrogant prick," which unfortunately a lot of these guys do. And some of these guys get exposed and roasted for the fact that, they act like they're players and studs with women. And in reality, they're sending incriminating emails and texts to these girls basically saying, "Hey, you can only come on my podcast if we have sex first." It's like, that's like Harvey Weinstein level bullshit. It's like, really? Guys that are doing shit like that, is like, what are they going to teach me? Really? You think I'm going to listen to some moron that does that? It's like, that's not impressive. And then you watch them in the podcast, and they got no charm, they got no charisma. So the girls are trying to get some exposure, and they're basically willing to sleep in the casting couch so they can get on a popular podcast. It's like, does Harvey Weinstein impress you? Do you look at that guy and go, what a ladies' man he is? It's like, come on. He says, "I started to see red pill contents, such as a very well-known podcast, and I started to feel superior to women." Because, again, that is the vibe that these dudes all give off. They're superior. I'm better than everybody. Modern women, they're such shit, and I'm the man. This led to a very dark path. I started to treat women very badly and use them as sex objects. I eventually started repulsing women, obviously like the first guy is. Because you come to women in general, as a group, or individually with that vibe, and they're going to be turning and running. I eventually started repulsing women. It's like women could sense the negativity in me. I went from being very successful with women following your work to women starting to block me after the way I was treating them. I eventually stopped watching red pill content and went back to my work. I found a great girl who I had been in a relationship with for 2 months, and I'm back to being my own self. I am positive, optimistic, and friendly as the wonder guy that I was. Love is playful and fun. It's not being an arrogant dickhead. If you act like an arrogant dickhead, women are not going to like you. And especially if you bring that vibe to your work environment and you work with a lot of women, you will get fired. It's not a good thing. You'll ruin your life. Like this guy said, the title of his email was "Red Pill Almost Ruined My Life." He says, "Women are back to coming up to me, and I do not have this negative aura surrounding me." If you think about the first guy's email, do you think that guy has women coming up to him and going, "You're amazing. You're such a great guy. You're so much fun to be around"? Do you think that's happening to him? Of course not. He says, "Thank you for everything that you do, and I should have never left your work to follow the red pill. Take care, coach, and God bless you." Well, as I continue to get these emails in and have stories from dudes I talk to, in phone sessions, it's like I'm gonna keep talking about it. It pisses a lot of people off. I get a lot of hate and a lot of pushback from guys that are kind of in the red pill cult, but it's like you're supposed to be dangerous but kind. Not an arrogant dickhead. I mean, Tate's one. You look at the Tates. If you ever seen Andrew Tate interacting with women in a podcast, he's very charming. He's got charisma. He's not berating girls and talking shit to them. He's causing them to laugh, and he's creating rapport, and they're liking him. Whereas the guys of the podcast, a lot of the podcasts he's going on, it's like those dudes ain't getting no pussy, other than the girls that give it up to him just so they can get on their show. So it's like, if you're acting like Harvey Weinstein, I'm not going to be impressed. Sorry. It's like Harvey Weinstein is in jail for a reason. So if you got a question or a challenge and you would like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.